Hey, hey, looks like we're live.
And we are live. A little technical difficulty on my end. Welcome back to another episode of the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. And today we are joined by the powerhouse behind the Gold Digger Girl brand, Dr. Kimberly Olson. She's a self-made multimillionaire TEDx speaker and the best-selling author who has helped over 10,000 entrepreneurs master social media with her signature Brand Connect method. Recognized as a top business innovator and businesswoman of the year, Kimberly has built over $9 million in revenue and shared the stage with industry giants like Rachel Hollis and John Maxwell. She's on a mission to help female and male entrepreneurs turn their ideas into a thriving business. I cannot wait. You won't want to miss this episode, so stay tuned and we'll see you on the inside. And there we go. So welcome to another episode. And you know what? Let's just dive right in. Kimberly, I'm so excited to have you on the show. You know, we were talking right before we went live that we've been in lots of proximity with one another, ran in some of the same circles. I've had the privilege to see you on multiple stages. And so I'm very, very excited to find out a little bit more about just yourself and your journey, probably some things I haven't heard. In our audience, but then in addition to that, to learn some techniques, right, to really dive into some video marketing opportunities that have made both you, the Gold Digger brand, and many of your clients experience some success. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, you guys. This is awesome. And shout out to Tina for bringing me into the fold and trusting me with you and your audience.
Yeah, awesome. No, absolutely. And by the way, we're like family here, right? Some people come on live. We'll be also having the opportunity to stream this across multiple platforms and onto our new podcast channel.
Awesome.
So, whether you're listening live or listening to the recording later on, I'm so open to just diving in and learning some new techniques. So let's just start from the beginning. If it's okay with you, not everyone understands. They should know the brand Kimberly Olson, right? But if they do not, let's dive right into just, a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to build the Gold Digger Girl brand.
Yeah, for sure. And I always love hearing people's stories because you realize it was not overnight. Doesn't it always seem like that? Yes. Yeah, we're going to become an 8-figure company this year is our milestone. And I started in 2011 as a YouTuber and blogger. That was my idea, though. I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a star, right? And like your name's Star. And my brand was Fit Kim. And I would do these blog posts and YouTube. And like my aunt would comment, you know what I mean? Like nothing happened for years and years and years. So I struggled from 2011 to 2017, kept putting more stuff on credit cards, kept trying, buying another course, going to another conference, got married in that time. And then I had 2 babies back to back, Addison and Elise. And I did experience postpartum with both of them. If you don't know what that is, it can happen. It's a real thing. And I actually just found myself in this vicious cycle of wanting to build a business, but then putting it on the shelf because I was trying to just cope, to be completely honest. And I was struggling with alcohol abuse. It runs in my family and it had just become my coping mechanism, just kind of get through the day. So in the spring of 2017, a friend of mine was like, hey, I just got a car and I quit my job and I'm selling shampoo. And I'm like, what? So she started telling me more about it. And I'm like, well, what I'm doing is not working because I had a full-time job, was commuting 2.5 hours a day, right? And so I was like, well, what have I got to lose? So I signed up, I put my kit on my American Express. And I said to her, if I don't make the money back for this kit when the bill comes, I'm out. She's like, just listen to what, just follow me. So I had my first comma check, right? Everybody's freaking out. You're going to we're going to quit the job and travel on the jet. So I have a comma check. Then the next check is $200. And I'm like, oh, okay. I started self-sabotaging. That's what I did. That was my way. I would self-sabotage and procrastinate, all the things. So I prayed and prayed and prayed. And I just said, God, I can see this could be my ticket out. Like, I see it. Can you just help me figure out how to like get out of my own way? And it was the alcohol abuse. That was my struggle. So I enlisted professional support. It was very intense. I had to like tell myself I was awesome every day for like ever. And so August 1st of 2017, I woke up, and I don't know y'all's faith, but I woke up and God said, like, you're good. Like, you are good. You are worthy. And I was like, I am good. I am worthy. It was like, I finally believed it, all that therapy and all that work. And he said, now I've just changed you. I've just changed you in your family tree. Now go change other people's lives. And that was August 1st of 2017. I've been celebrating sobriety ever since. And I did. I literally was so grateful that my life had just changed over, it wasn't overnight, but it had changed. I could see the vision. I could see this was going to work. I was going to do this. So I went on to start social media, right? I'm going to change the world. I got to get on social media. And I remember going on YouTube, how to make money with network marketing on social media, right? And it was Tanya Eliza and Jessica Higdon had a webinar, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that, right? And so saying, go live, right? That was the thing, like that, go live. And so I got in my car, and I have PhDs in natural health and holistic nutrition. So I got in my car before I walked to my office. Didn't look so great because I was a mom with 2 little babies. And I said, wake up with lemon water. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm literally in my car telling people, like, wake up with lemon water. You're going to like be healthy. So everyone said, you got to be consistent, go live every week. So I did. I went live every week. I have gone live every week since then. And it was, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. And there was nobody on. And then there was a person on. There was a live viewer. And I'm like, oh, I have a live viewer. And guess who it was? It was my husband's best friend at work. Like, what is she even doing? Right. He was like creeping on my video. He didn't know I could see, his little reaction or whatever. One viewer. And then I was like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. So I was going live. More people started coming. So I started a group, All In with Kim. And I said, I'm going to coach you for free because these gurus are saying, offer value. I'm like, what can I do? I'm like, we're going to set goals for a month. And I used to do like personal training. So, and I'm like, we're going to set goals and I'm going to hold you accountable. And I did for 30 days. I just serve. And at the end, they were like, how are you like doing all this stuff? Like, how do you go live? How do you like have a group? I'm like, I don't know. I just hit the button. So I started teaching people what I was doing like the week prior, you guys. I wasn't like the seasoned expert. I'm like, oh yeah, 3-way chats. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. So in December of 2017, I did a vision board workshop and I charged $15. I walked out of my office on a Saturday morning and I had made $450. And I looked at my husband and he was like, what? And I said, I'm going, like, get out of my way. Let's go. I don't care if I never watch a movie ever again or listen to music. Like, I am all in with this. So I launched Gold Digger Girl Co. that spring, and we're coming up on 7 years. And wrote a book, podcast, all the things, became a top network marketer because I was able to teach people these simple things that they could do, and then they would get results. And since then have been on and off in network marketing. I'm actively in network marketing now, but most importantly, I have this coaching company that we really help the average entrepreneur who maybe accidentally stumbled into what, like suddenly they have a business and they don't know how to grow that business. That's what we do. We teach them how to use social media to make money. And I'm so glad that you guys, that we're going to have this topic today and talk about video marketing, because that's how I started.
Right.
But the number one thing that I want to get across to everyone watching this and listening, you've got to lean into video marketing, and we'll talk about different ways to do that. But yeah, that's how it happened. It was a whirlwind, but it was also a very slow and long process.
Yeah.
Kimberly. And you guys see how Kimberly did the inner work first, right? She went to therapy. She focused on, she was doing affirmations every single day so that she can overcome the challenges that she faced. So I love that, because these are the topics that we share on this podcast, and these are the challenges that a lot of people have. And then you led into consistency. You had that breakthrough, and then you became consistent. I love it.
Yeah, so true, because, I heard a lot of things, by the way. You unpacked a lot there. So thanks, Kimberly. And I, what's so profound is, of course, I'm a branding person too, right? So I love what you've built. I love what you're doing. And as you said, Star, I always discuss that, yes, you want to talk about products and services, but let's really delve into the brand you first, right? Like, those are typically the obstacles that are holding you back in life. It's just this alignment of self and your soul and your purpose and your connection with, with those that you want to serve. And you've done that so well. And obviously you gave us the quick version, right? It wasn't easy. So it's very interesting. You said just show up, just take action, go live, as you stated, and that goes way back to 2017, I believe, if I was in my dates right. So that's what would you say is just a couple techniques? Let's just go back to the basics for people that are just figuring it out. I don't even have this wrote down, but I heard many times that most people fear going live on video more than they fear death itself, right? We've heard this over and over. So what are some things that you can share with those that are just still kind of just fearful of going live or showing up, or they don't like their voice or face online,
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that it comes down to is, like you guys were saying, this is all going to be mindset over mechanics. And so I would just do that work every day to visualize yourself going live before you even start doing it. And don't do this forever, but maybe it's you do a week challenge for yourself to say, okay, I'm just going to listen and just drink the Kool-Aid here for a second. And I want you to visualize yourself, close your eyes, and just imagine you going live. And when you go live, I want you to imagine who's on the other side of the camera. So it's your cell phone or webcam, but who's on the other side? And I want you to imagine that person woke up that day and they were feeling really lost. They were feeling like, is this it? And they were kind of hopeless. And they were just, maybe they got their kids off to the bus, or whoever your ideal client is. And they're sitting there at the kitchen table and they pull up their phone and they're scrolling and they see you and they watch it. And they start tearing up because there's something that you said, and the way that you were just yourself, they were like, oh my gosh, this is my person. You weren't polished with your beautiful background and you match your brand. No, you were you, just sharing something that was on your minds, or a tip, anything, right? And because of that, they may or may not reach out to you, but you changed that person for that moment. And maybe they went off and they did join a gym and they started getting healthier. Maybe they DM you and say, hey, how can I work with you? This isn't about you. And once you realize it's not about you, that we are brought, on this planet to utilize our gifts and make the world a better place, you remove yourself and get out of your own way, so that way you can serve other people. And it's going to feel like, I can't even tell you that one of my first lives, after I was done and I hit end, it was on my iPad. I didn't realize that the iPad was zooming in the whole time. You could see the painter's tape all in my backdrop that I taped to my wall like an hour before, the whole time. And the live was like about being truthful or something. And I'm like, well, I can't take it down because this is the truth. Do you know how much people loved that? They said, I love that you were just yourself and that was real. They don't want polished. They don't want highly produced.
Yes.
That's not what this is all about. So what work do you need to do to see yourself as more than good enough, to see yourself as perfectly imperfect the way that you are? This isn't about how far you are. This is you looking back and mentoring the person who's just a step behind you or a few steps behind you. And if you can think of it that way and understand you're going to be shaking when you go to do it. You're going to be shaking. It's going to be scary. We feel the fear and we do it anyways. And if you can just get over that, it's going to get easier and easier and easier.
Wow. If the show, and I know we're going to get into some other techniques, but if the show was nothing but what you just shared, it is absolutely so impactful. And it's so true, right? Like just, overcoming that fear of trying to be perfect, everything showing up so that, you think that you're flawless and whatever that approach may be. When really it's just about taking imperfect action. Right. And you're right. Like so many days, we go back 7 years ago, even 10 years ago on social media, and it was about fine production. It was the right lighting. Everything had to be perfectly kind of staged, and you had to go back and re-edit a bunch of things. Here on the Uncensored Entrepreneurs, it's why we created this version of the show was, that it's not about that, right? We can talk about the flaws and the heartache and the things that we have to overcome. And the other thing is, more than anything, as you just stated, showing up authentically, just showing up. And whether, I mean, some people may have just heard my granddaughter crying in the background, right? Or actually, I think it was laughter. I think it was laughter. But the point is, right, I have family in town now, and we're preparing for my grandson's birthday, his 3-year-old birthday this weekend. Pretty excited about that. But those are the things that, like, you know, in the past, I would have edited that out. Yep. And now it's about going live and showing up and letting people know that we're real as well. And we go through the same things, and things do not have to be, you know, perfect. And so thank you for saying that. And it's so powerful. Star, yes. I can connect with you because you and I, you know, heart to heart, have been through some serious things in life. We talk about being, you know, a driving force between our trauma. And so, Kimberly, right when you were talking about that, you know, I saw Star kind of get that little glaze. I did the same thing, and I'm like, yeah, we're showing up. I'm actually drawn in, and I might even shed a tear, you know, if you keep going that deep here on the show.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Anyway,
no, I don't mess around. Let's go.
Yeah, I love it. So that's what's powerful. I hope that people are really drawing into that. So that sets the stage, right? Mindset over all things, so that you can show up. You've also mentioned this multiple times: consistency. Let's really just kind of emphasize the power of that. I mean, you're an example of that. But so often we get dragged down another rabbit hole. We start some new marketing, and maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a post, but we do it for, you know, a week, we do it for a month, we do it for maybe 3 months, and then we stop doing it. Mm-hmm. You want to talk a little bit about just consistency?
Yes. Yeah. And there's 2 pieces to it. So first off, it's just, you know, because of my health background, I always think about the gym and stuff. You know how when you start, a lot of you did a New Year's resolution, right? And it's so nice seeing all of you in the comments. Thanks, guys. Let me know in the comments, what was your New Year's resolution? Just like one of them, put it in the comments. I want to see. And did you stick with it? So one of the common ones people do is they join a gym, right? Or they're like, I'm going to walk every day. And what happens is you're walking, we'll just use walking. You're going to walk every day around your neighborhood. I live in Austin, Texas, so that could happen in the north. I don't know. So you're walking around your neighborhood, and one day you wake up and you're like, oh, it's so cold out. Like, you know what? I'll do it later today, or I'll skip today and I'll start again tomorrow. Research has actually shown that when you skip one day, it becomes extremely easy to skip another day, and then you're off your thing. So unless you are vomiting or bleeding out of your eyes, you're going to show up. Okay. Can all of you commit to that? Like, whatever you said it was, if it's going live, doing reels, I don't care, because we'll talk about short form video. You will do it. If life happens and there's things with your family, you will show up. You don't think after 7 years that there hasn't been things in my life. I mean, I've been to the point where I'm like, I couldn't get Wi-Fi, and I'm like, all right, honey, I'm going to go drive into town. I said I was going to do this thing, and I do the thing. So this is what you want to remember. When you make a decision to commit, the root word of decision is decide, which is to cut off. So we're cutting off all other alternatives to your commitment. If you are truly committed to being a boss and building this amazing business and doing all the things, changing your family tree. We have a nonprofit, Elephant Sisters. We just supported a woman to move her family across the country of just a situation. That's what this is about. How committed are you to your goals? Because the people, oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire this year. And then it's January 30th and they're like, oh wait, what was my goal? No, if you are committed, I'm talking like I am in, then you're deciding to commit to that. And you're going to decide to cut off all other options, which means the only option is to keep going until you are successful. You're going to show up every day, no matter what, and you're going to keep going until you're successful. So that's the first thing. It's the consistency muscle. Okay. It's just a level of commitment. I'm more committed than you when it comes to live video. If I'm going live more than you, that's it. It's not, I'm better than you. It's not that I'm smarter. Go back and watch my original videos. You're going to get some popcorn out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be like, what is happening? And I became very good at video because I've done it so many times. Okay. The second part, and this is why I developed the Brand Connect method. I see this all the time. And you know this, Robert, because of branding and Star. I see everything that you do. You've been around the block. You've worked with so many people and their brands. The reason why people aren't consistent is because they don't have clarity. The clarity comes from your personal brand. You have to start with that. Who you are, who you serve, and how you help those people. I'm a business coach. I work with female entrepreneurs. I teach them how to make money from their brands every day on social media. That's it. If you're a female entrepreneur and you want to make money on social with your brand, you're like, yes, here's my credit card, Kimberly. Can I hire you? Because it's so clear. I'm clear in my brand, so it's so easy for me to create content. I could make up 50 posts right now because I have the clarity. Put me in the comments if you feel like, oh my gosh, I really don't have the clarity. I don't know who I am. I don't know who I'm serving. How do I help those people? And with the economy, with the contraction in the marketplace that we've experienced, with buyers being burned on themselves and others, investments that they've made, people are in a trust recession. They are taking longer to make a decision to work with you. So if you're not consistent, they are not going to hire you. They're not going to sign up for your network marketing team. And they're not going to buy your product. But if you're consistent and you have that clarity and you keep talking about that same concept and topic, I'm telling you, your whole life is going to change when you can just give yourself some space to figure this thing out, you guys. So you need to take the time to figure out the brand clarity, who you are, who you serve, and how you help those people. And it needs to be very specific and tangible.
And Kimberly, that is just such profound advice because you kept it so simple. We see people who are overwhelmed. They're chasing every shiny object. What's the new trend? And literally what you said was have clarity on who you are, who you serve, what your outcome is going to be, and consistency. How simple is that? I love that share.
Yeah, it's perfect math, right?
Yeah, it's so simple.
Not overwhelming at all. One question I did want to ask you about, you mentioned, you talked about how you made $400 and something when you had your first, you were selling this product for $15, but now you're on track for 8 figures, which is incredible. Can you share some of your pivotal moments of how you were able to, scale your business from, $400. A lot of people are like, oh my God, we finally have sales, but it takes so much more to grow to 7 figures. And now you're on track for 8.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the biggest shift that happened is over time, obviously, is putting yourself in a category of one where people see you and they go, it's just really building a good reputation for yourself by the consistency. See a theme here? Like it literally just goes back to being consistent, but that you're showing up and people see you, that you have this message that you're putting out there. So as you go along, you're able to create different offers based on what your audience needs. So for example, we have an in-person retreat that we do. That's part of our biggest group coaching program we have. And when people come to that, we also offer them to add on a VIP day. So they can add on a VIP day, come an extra day, get that, small group setting with me. So instead of it being, okay, we have this retreat, it's part of our program. Obviously we built it into the program. We're able to add on another option that's really serving them. Like it sells out every single year because they're like, oh my gosh, I want that time. So you want to be thinking about, and I forgot the name of the book. I'll try to think of it before we're done, but there's this great book. I totally want to go look now and tell you guys, but there's this great book where this guy studied companies that were able to stay and go the distance, the ones that were able to make it. And he came from more like the magazine publishing industry, line extensions, those that were able to pivot, offer different things, adjust. And, this is why we don't want to build on fads and trends. Instead, we want to think about, like, how can we serve people where they are going to continue to do business with us for decades? Okay. We don't want it to be, yay, we had this big launch and sold out of a product, and then that's it, one and done. Like, we want to think about how we can serve. Reoccurring revenue is essential for a healthy business. So maybe you have a membership that you add on. In the network marketing space, it's making sure you have a product that's consumable that people are purchasing month in and month out. So it's all layering. I mean, at this point, we have like over 100 line items of different sources of revenue. So multiple streams, and like you said, Star, we don't want people getting squirreling, shiny object, bouncing around, trying to launch 12 businesses at once. We launch one business and we get that completely up and running, well-oiled machine. We have a system, and then we're ready for a second, right? Or another stream of income. But definitely recurring revenue, multiple streams, and then really knowing what your people need and giving them what they want is essential.
Yeah, so key, right? Like serving, and you've said this multiple times in many different fashions, and the fact that we're not here to sell, we're here to serve, right? And there's so many ways of continuously looking at that. Even when it comes to certain products and services, obviously there's huge value to products and services that we're attached to, or we wouldn't be part of them. But those products and services can come and go. They can shift with times. With, in some businesses, we don't have always control over inventory or other things that actually could impact the economy just as a whole. But if you're building your own brand and you're continuously working on that personal development in parallel with your products and services and being able to serve, then it's seamless, right? And even if you have to make a shift and even completely switch to a whole different product, it's not as impactful if you've done it the right way and you continuously put the people first in solving their problems and their needs, above all things, right? So relationships before transactions, I cannot emphasize that enough. And obviously you're doing that very well. As Star said, so scaling, is there anything else in regards to just scaling? Because I had a couple of questions regarding that. So thank you, Star, for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
So just in regards to that, so the person that's sitting out there right now and they have their $500 a month business and they're like, what do I need to do next, right?
Yeah. The thing that you guys want to think about is what metrics are these platforms tracking? And that's going to tell you what they are prioritizing. And it's changed. I think there's been a general theme really, over the years. The metrics that they're looking at and tracking, and I'm speaking Meta, but as we know, it kind of is a leader, right? The two metrics they're tracking are video views and non-followers. And the reason why this is important is because the video views, and by the way, a millisecond, if you have a millisecond, which is crazy to think, that's like 1,000, it's a thousandth of a second. It's nothing. That's the attention span that we have now. It's not 7 seconds on Reels. It's literally a millisecond, but that counts. So if somebody looks at your thing for a millisecond, you get a view count. They're looking at video views. And then the non-follower is how many people are seeing your Reels. Think of Instagram specifically. That's helpful. How many people are seeing your content that don't follow you? Why? Is because these platforms have moved to interest-based content. So their algorithm is completely designed to figure out what you're interested in. How many of you have been having a conversation with a spouse and then you go on your laptop and on Facebook and there's a cat, cat video, and you're like, we were just talking about getting a cat. How is theirs? Yes. Okay. Interest. And let's not even get into that, how they know that, but interest, that's what they want, because they know if they can figure out what you're interested in, you're going to spend more time on the platform and more likely to spend money. And that's what they want. So instead of it being, the algorithm and things like that, that's important. The algorithm is just basically their patent. No one knows really what the algorithm is and it changes. It's their way to decide if they're going to put your content out in front of people. If they can see that they're putting your content out in front of people and people who don't follow you are digging your content, that's very, very good. They will put more and more and more of your stuff in front of non-followers. Why is this important? Why do you want to be in front of non-followers? Well, if we're thinking about growth as our goal, which always be growing because you have attrition, always be growing, then wouldn't we want to get in front of new people? Absolutely. What's the best way to get in front of new people? To start out, it's going to be short form video, Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. I always put my Reels on LinkedIn, just pop it on over there. And so the short form video, very easy to produce, very easy to create. You can generate so many leads from short form video. But the cool thing is you can look at your analytics and see how many non-followers did I get in front of? How many replay views, which means people are watching, they're actually watching and reading the caption. How many replay views? You can tell if people are sitting on that video or not. And obviously the goal is to get them to comment, get that lead. That is the way that you are going to grow quickly, in my opinion. And then obviously we tack on live video at the back of it to serve those people. Your work is done. That's it.
Wow. So true. Star, you and I talk about this often in regards to, in the past, you came up with a great product or a service, and you felt like you needed to kind of covet that and keep it to yourself or put a price tag on it. And so when you're talking about video and constantly putting things out there, you're educating people without selling them anything, right? And so, when most people think they need to put a price tag on it, it always needs to be a paid course instead of a free course or any type of a boot camp that people join. What advice would you attach to that in regards to just continuously giving value?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you always want to follow the 80-20 rule. So if you're ever like, okay, am I going too heavy with selling? You need to be selling. I will do audits for people. I'm like, I have no idea what you do. Like, I literally couldn't hire you right now. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't want to be salesy. How's that working for you? So 80-20 rule, 80% of the time offering value, entertaining, engaging, inspiring, just connecting personally, right? That's easy. You can do that, right? And then 20% of the time we're selling. The cool thing is in that 80%, part of it with serving is offering value. It might be a lead magnet, might be a free resource, might be an invitation to a boot camp, as you mentioned. It could be, hey, come check out this interview. And in the boot camp, in the free resource, XYZ, we can sell, we can make an offer. So I love to teach people, just offer value, give away a resource or whatever you have. And then in Messenger, after you've qualified and asked a few questions, say, hey, this guide will get you started. But if you're really serious about blank, I have this. Would you like to look at that? Do you want to hop on a quick call? So you can start with that lead magnet and end up having a sale in Messenger or, on a Zoom conversation, but it's still in the 80%. You're still serving by giving a free resource or putting on a boot camp, but we do need the 20%. You do need to be selling. And thank you to TikTok Shop. It has become completely normal to sell on video now. So I teach our students to do QVC style, where you go live, on Facebook, Instagram, and you straight up sell. Okay. So when you're in that 20% of your content being selling, you can sell. You can literally do a video that says, this is how you can work with me. Let me tell you what I do, who it's for. We can have a chat, and you could go and do a video on selling. You could go live. You could do short form video. It's okay to sell. People need to know how to do business with you. But if you follow that 80-20 rule, you'll be good. You'll be good to go.
That's great. And Kimberly, I wanted to ask you about well, first of all, you're a powerhouse. So we know that you're very busy, but let's talk about you being a mom and that work-life balance. Can you tell us how you're managing to balance everything? How do you take time out for yourself, for self-care?
Yes. So, people that don't like schedules or discipline, they push back on this. And I travel and go on vacation more than most people. So I'm always, I get 9 hours of sleep and do all the things. It really comes down to pre-planning. So I plan my unstructured time. And I also, when my kiddos get off the bus, it's mom hat, I'm unavailable, dinner, all the things. And then I'll go back to my desk for like an hour at night if I want to. So what I do is I actually do, annual planning, but I do quarterly planning, and I'm really committed to it. So I do the quarterly planning before the quarter starts. So I know everything on my schedule. Then, and by the way, I schedule the massages, I schedule yoga and spin class. I schedule little dates with my kids and my daughters. I'll pick them up from school, family vacation. So the personal life is a part of that quarterly planning. And I think people really miss that. They're trying to figure out how to work their business around their life, or they're like, oh, if I do this, does this mean I have to sacrifice my family and my sanity? So no. It's all about being really efficient and focused. The only way you can be focused and productive if you know what you're supposed to be doing. So I know exactly what I need to be doing today. I'm pretty positive I'll be on more Zoom calls than most people watching this. Yet in between that time, I will get more done and make sure, I'm there with my family, right? And I did sleep 9 hours last night. I take care of like prayer and all of that, in the morning. I have a very unstructured scheduled block until about 11 or 12 is when I'll start Zooms. That whole 3 hours in the morning, 4 hours is completely unstructured. And so I have that space to just be and create and all the things. So I just want to encourage people, if you feel like you would be put in a box by putting a schedule in place, that's not true at all. It allows you to be free to enjoy and take care of yourself and be with your family. But when I'm working, I am working. And you have to have that conversation with your family. My family knows if the doors are closed, they can peek their head in. And sometimes I'm like, come in, right? And it's also been a revisited conversation with my daughters. I'm at my desk, I am working. And they're like, but would you want me here or at an office? So like, they don't understand because this is all they know. I have to tell them I am working at my desk right now. And if it's an emergency, but I'm like, when I'm done, I will open the door and I'll come out and, we'll talk about whatever. So that's just how I go about it. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but I am very, very laser focused when I'm doing what I need to do.
Absolutely. You have to be, like, time management is so crucial.
It is.
Time blocking. And when you say unstructured time, that technically is still structure, right? Because it's in your calendar, meaning that these 2-3 hours, and I do some of the same things like fluidly, in the morning, my morning routine. I know that there's 3 major things that I do to help myself. Typically, some self-improvement, a little bit of exercise, and, and I call it's journaling, but it's also just kind of, page dumping. But when you think of that, it feels loose because I throw in a lot of other little extra time to just read or listen to another podcast or, whatever it may be, but it's still structure. I still block out that time to just kind of release, and then that's it. So I love that you're putting that in there. As an entrepreneur, there's so many people that we speak to, that your audience, that consistently lives on like it's that solopreneur. They're on an island of one, and it's so easy to get distracted or pulled down a rabbit hole, or you're on social media, or it's like, you know what, maybe I'll just watch one episode on Netflix, and it turns into 3 or 4 episodes. There's so many things without that structure. So I think that's crucial. People sometimes call it why, attaching to like a source, an outcome.
Absolutely.
Do you have any advice in regards to that? Just letting people.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Okay.
So this is the thing, y'all. Okay. When you can figure out what your people really need, and it like lights you up to teach it and to give, like, you're just like, I'm in my zone of genius. When you can figure that out, it's like your vision for the impact you want to make, it pulls you. People have said this, you've heard it, vision pulls. It pulls you. I don't have to go motivate myself in the morning. I get out of bed and I'm like, let's go. Okay. Now, do I have challenges? Every day. Do I have obstacles? I run a company with lots of people that I'm talking to every day, students, staff. Yes, there are lots of challenges. I have 2 preteens. Did I mention that? And an amazing husband and all the things. There's lots going on here. And because I know where we're going, like I have the eye on the prize. My job here is to impact women every single day and speak belief into them, encourage them that they can do it in strategy. It's like, hey, here's how you go make money. That's what I'm here for. I fully embody that. What you see here is what you get. I don't have to like say, yeah, let's go. No, I am living out my purpose, literally. So the reason why people struggle is because they're over here and they're playing small and they're like, oh, who am I?
Right.
You become somebody by going out there and doing something. Like you started that at the very beginning. Wow, what I'm hearing is consistency. What I'm hearing is go live even when you're not ready. That's doing something. So watching videos all day and listening to podcasts and like, looking on TikTok videos is not doing anything. You're consuming, but are you creating? Are you creating content? Are you going live? Are you talking to somebody in Messenger? Are you making an impact on somebody else? The way to know if you've won today is, could you honestly say to yourself that you positively impacted somebody else today? It could be a quote graphic. It doesn't even have to be a conversation. Did you positively impact somebody today? And if you did, pat on the back. If you didn't, it's like, okay, how can I do better tomorrow?
Yeah, that goes back to serving, right? If you're serving, if you're building relationships before transactions, then there's always going to be a positive outcome, which then kind of propels you forward when you don't have the energy to get out of bed and to do these things. Because I know that when I put others first and others depend on me, then that in itself is typically this motivation. I heard somewhere years ago, so I can't say exactly who first told me this. But many times, mindset wise, when we're in a burning building, some of us would just sit there and let the building burn around us. But when loved ones, when others are depending on us, when the people that, that we care for the most are in that burning building, we would like run through the fire, right? And kick down doors. And so we have to continuously kind of put it in that framework that like, I have to serve. There's others that depend on me. There's others that, need me to show up today, or the course of their life continuously changes, not for the better, right? So, so I love this, and so kind of bringing all of this back around. Most people probably thought getting into this, she's going to give us the top 20 tips on video marketing,
best audio trends.
Yeah, and most of this is just again consistency, showing up, just taking action, taking imperfect action if that's what it takes each and every day. What are some other tips that you would really coin for today's talk in regards to just video marketing in itself?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, it's super easy to make a reel. It doesn't take a lot of time. So what I would do is, if you're sitting here going, okay, what's something I could do? Start with the reels. And when I say reel, I mean any short form video. Start with reels. And then if you can get yourself to going live once a week, I'd love to see that. Okay. So reels every day, go live once a week. That's it. If you just literally, if that's all you did this year, you would message me in a year and be like, oh my gosh, my life has changed. So what you want to do is you want to go find accounts on Instagram specifically that are creating content that similar to what you want to do. So go find some inspo, right? 3 to 5 accounts. You're like, yes, love what she's doing. Love that. Okay. So we're following them. We're watching their videos. You don't have to engage, but like watch their videos. When you see a reel that they do and you're like, I could do that, I want you to save it. So you can save it right on Instagram in a folder, or maybe put it on a Trello board, as I like to do, and you're going to save it. And I want you to find 7 of them. Okay. So if you guys want practical application, go find 3 to 5 accounts that are doing what you want to do, save 7 videos. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to recreate those videos, but we're not going to copy them. Reels and TikToks were made for people to mimic. That's how the whole thing started. Little dances. What was it? Musical.ly or something? Yeah. Little dances. And then people do the dances. It is designed for that. You're not stealing people's stuff. We are going to use it as inspiration. We might choose a different audio for it, right? Or whatever, but you're going to mimic. So let's say you see one and you're like, ooh, I like that. And it's, 3 ways to blast belly fat, this spring. And you're like, I could do that. Cool. Do your own version of it. 3 ways to, lose a few pounds by eating plants or whatever. But you don't have to do exactly the same words. But if you do, you got to tweak them a little bit. Okay. Look at the hook, which is what I just said. Look at how they do the video. The caption needs to be your own words, but you can look at theirs for ideas, and then a good call to action. Comment playbook below if you want to get my playbook on, getting healthy. Comment recipes. Comment me if you want to get my community of like-minded women who are all trying to lose the belly fat. Whatever. A call to action. If you keep doing that, and you're going to get better and better and better at the copy or the content, so what you're writing, you're going to get leads from it. Then you're going to talk to those people in Messenger. If you did this every day, how could you not get better at it? That's how you're going to get better at it. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do. Go find 7 reels, recreate them, do 1 a day. If you can get yourself to go live, I'd love to see that at least once a week. That would literally be the playbook right there.
Wow. So true. And it takes such little time to do exactly what you just stated as far as executing. I love that.
Yeah. And Kimberly, for those that might be struggling on what platform they should focus on, Facebook, Instagram, you also mentioned TikTok. Can you get some little short pointer on that?
Yes. So we do need to be on 2 platforms. So ideally, Meta would be considered one, and then maybe we're on TikTok or somewhere else, just in case something happened. But for now, if you're new to all of this, what I would want you to do is do the research and all the things on Instagram. Just auto post it over to Facebook. If you don't know how to do that, download the video and upload it. Just do the same thing on both platforms. And then Facebook, for most of you, since you're wherever you're watching this, most people get Facebook. If you want to do a post that day with a picture of you on top of your reel, if you want to do a quote graphic, you can have 2 things going on Facebook and just leave Instagram all reels for now. A reel a day, have it post on both platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And then if you want to add to Facebook and drop another something each day, cool. If not, you could just do reels. Literally, I've seen people, I have clients. One, she has 100 and some thousand followers on her personal profile on Facebook. Do you know how hard that is? All she does is her TikTok videos, and then she repurposes them onto her Facebook account. But it's very specific, very niche. She understands her brand and how she's helping people. So that's what I would do. Yeah, it's a great question, Star.
Thank you. That was great. Clarity again.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to just consistency, having a plan, knowing who you are and attaching that to kind of your passion and your purpose and the audience that you're wanting to serve, right? Just that perfect formula, which most of us think it's just this, I need to read 20 books to figure this out. I need, another 20 courses. And by the way, we all have amazing books and amazing courses, right? I think, Kimberly, you've wrote over 8 or 9 books, I believe, the last time I looked. Okay.
Yeah.
So amazing content. It's all great. I think that once again, kind of going back to the beginning of this, for those that are just jumping in, definitely go back and listen to the whole entire podcast, because we started with mindset. We started with really building that brand you. And by doing that through personal development, then, you're truly in alignment with all of these other things that we're talking about, right? Most of us think this like some secret sauce of what it takes to be, to be successful, to be in business. Now, obviously, there's many other mechanics to scale that, but just to get started, to make your first $100, $200, $300, it's everything that you just laid out, Kimberly. You talked about, having that hook in your video. Just as kind of a recap, you talked about the content, right? What it is that you're actually, how you're serving them, the solution, and then the call to action, how they can get in touch with you or how they can discuss things further. And the call to action, by the way, if you want to expand on that, doesn't always have to be an immediate price tag. It can be just what? Follow me. Let's talk more. Right?
Follow me. Drop a heart if you agree. Yeah, it can just be comment how long have you been an entrepreneur? It can just be an open-ended question. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you're balancing it with that 80-20 rule, like we talked about, 80% of the time is value. It doesn't mean you're like, get my freebie, get my guide. You don't have to do that every time. It can just be open-ended. Like you kept saying, Robert, like it's just that intent to serve. So how can you serve them? Well, serving, what we mean by that is just offering something of value. Value is just something that they're digging. So it can be inspiring or funny. The call to action part is just to get them to comment. Why do we want to get them to comment? It's the engagement, but it actually starts building a relationship. So you could prompt, what was the first car you ever had? It can just be anything, right? So just keep it light.
Right. Something to kind of warm up the conversation or the post a little bit. So obviously we're coming to a close. We could talk to you forever because there's so much here. And by the way, I know that your target market, I just wanted to mention this. I know your target market is female entrepreneurs, right? Really helping them in that movement of building their business and becoming very independent. But what I love is you're putting so much value out, right? That it's by proximity, as I said before. That's your target market, right? But I'm like drawn right in. I'm sitting here going,
we have gold digger dudes, as we call them.
Yeah, you got some gold.
Yes. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And you already know if you're empowering these women to be, the powerhouses they are, it's without a doubt, it's going to bleed off into their, their spouses, their husbands, and all the other people that are part of their life, right?
Yeah.
So, I love that, and I truly appreciate that. So, because we're coming to an end, do you have one or two just major points you'd like to drive home to the audience?
Yeah, I think this would be perfect to close with as well. So, and you guys both know this because of what you've done. So you might be watching this and you're like, all right, that's it. I'm going for it. I'm going to do a reel a day, right? Like I'm in. Nothing is going to happen for like 6 to 8 weeks. Nothing. Like nobody's going to comment. You're not getting any followers. You're going to be like, this Kimberly's for the birds. Just know that is completely normal in all things. So when I would have a client come in that wants to lose weight, 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in, they're like, I'm paying you all this money and I don't have a six pack, right? The breakthroughs happen, and they've studied this. The breakthroughs happen weeks 8 to 12. The average person quits at week 6.
Yeah.
That's statistics. The average person quits at 6 weeks. The average breakthrough is 8 to 12 weeks. Think about things you've done in the past. I bet you there are so many times you gave up right before you had your breakthrough, right before you started getting traction, right before it started working for you. So as we started with commitment, make the commitment right now that you're going to keep going. You're not going to look up. You're not going to say, where's my money? Where's all my followers? Why am I not Insta famous? Give it 90 days. So that would put us in February, March, April. End of April, I want you to look at your analytics. I want you to look at your growth. I want you to look at the conversations. If you're getting leads, you have people you're talking to, it is just a matter of time before they convert. You now have a healthy business that's generating leads every day, but that's only going to come if you commit right now to see it through. So put I commit in the comments if you commit to going all in with this for 90 days.
I'm putting that in there right now. That right? Because we all put on our blinders at times in our business and we forget the little things that got us to where we're at. Yeah. And it's just so true. So thank you so much. That is so true. I commit, for those that are watching, even in replay, really take on this challenge. And I'm sure that you'll have an opportunity to talk to Kimberly more, to watch some of her content across all of social media. The best way that they can reach you, of course, I mean, across all social media, you've done a great job in branding yourself. the Gold Digger Girl, right?
Yep.
I pretty much, if I just put it on any platform, you show up with some amazing.
Yes, I will be there.
Yeah, exactly. So we appreciate it. And once again, we look forward to having you on the show in the future, and and we'll see you later.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Right. Thank you all.